Hello and welcome to Your Broken Galaxy. I am Broken, and today I'm going to be asking the question, what if the Jedi remembered they could use Force speed? So, in the first little battle of the Phantom Menace, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon are taking down a Lucre Hulk battle cruiser by themselves, when suddenly, out of nowhere, a pair of droideka show up, and they decide to use super speed. And then we never see it again, at least not in any of the 9 episodic Star Wars movies. So I'm asking, what if the Jedi remembered they could actually use that ability? Here we go. After the Jedi escape to Naboo, things are basically the same. They end up getting to Boss Nass, then Padme, fly to Tatooine, and finally, when Darth Maul shows up, things are still basically the same. They get to Coruscant, and you know what? I'm just going to skip ahead. Finally, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan see Darth Maul, and he is looking all terrifying and has his double-bladed lightsaber, which was like so cool back when this was released. And the amazing, epic movie music with the terrestrial background and everything, and it's just the best. Then Qui-Gon and Maul get trapped in those little shield thingies, and Obi-Wan is like, you know what? Now would be a great time for Force speed, and he just runs like the Flash. So when it opens up, instead of a 1v1, Qui against Maul, Obi is right there with him. With the combined strength of both Jedi, they are able to take down Maul. The dude was super skilled as a Sith assassin, so let's say he at least chopped off Qui-Gon's hand, though. We gotta give him something. Now Anakin gets trained by Qui-Gon, and let me tell you, it's the best. It's just Sidious is just absolutely furious. He never cared about Darth Maul, but he always thought that Dooku's apprentice Qui-Gon was a bit of a problem. So Qui-Gon gets back, talks to Daddy Dooku, and is like, "I'm so pleased to see you." And Dooku is like, "Oh, it's so good that you're alive, Qui-Gon. Who is this?" And he says, "This is my former Padawan, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was just promoted to a Jedi Knight. And this is my new Padawan, Anakin Skywalker." And Dooku says, "I see. How wonderful. But let me tell you, I'm a little worried. I've kind of gotten myself involved with a Sith Lord who's trying to overthrow the galaxy. If you would have died on Naboo, to be honest, I probably would have gone with him because, you know, the Jedi are just the worst. But seeing you here gives me the resolve to stand up to him." And Qui-Gon says, "Huh, neat. Will you stand with me, Qui-Gon?" Dooku asks. "Yeah, that sounds pretty cool." So Dooku, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Anakin all fly to the senator's office, and Sheev is like, "What the heck are they doing here?" And Dooku says, "Your time has come, Darth. In the name of the Galactic Republic, you are under arrest." And Sheev is just sitting at his desk, and he looks over at Anakin, and then back to Dooku, then back to Anakin, then back to Dooku, and says, "You brought a child to fight me?" "What?" Dooku says. "You brought Anakin. He's been a Jedi for like 3 days, man. Do you really think that was a wise decision?" Sidious asks him. And Dooku says, "Well, no, I mean, he's Qui-Gon's Padawan." And Sid says, "You know, this is precisely why I think you need to take down the Jedi Order. Decisions like this are just terrible. You've been influenced too much by him, Count." And Dooku looks at Qui-Gon, then down at his blade, questioning himself. And Qui-Gon says, "Don't give in, Master. He's trying to trick you. We'll start a new and better Jedi Order after he's been brought to justice." And Dooku's like, "Yeah, okay, let's do that." So Palps, frustrated that his plan has failed, looks over to Anakin and says, "Join me, Anakin." And he says, "What? Why the heck would I do that?" And Palp Quake says, "Yeah, that's about 10 years too early. I didn't expect that to work." So he pulls out both of his lightsaber and says, "Wait, what are you arresting me for exactly?" And Obi-Wan says, "For being a Sith Lord." And Palpatine responds, "Yeah, so that's not illegal." And Obi-Wan says, "No," nervously looking at Qui-Gon and Dooku. "No, I'm pretty sure it is." "Nope," Palpatine says. He puts his lightsabers back. "You Jedi think you're so great, but you have just fallen into a terrible situation. I'll go peaceably," he said. You what?" Dooku asks. "You're placing me under arrest. I'll go peacefully. I protest the legality of this situation, but I'll fight it in the courts." "Oh. "That's not how I imagined this would go," Qui-Gon says. They place him in handcuffs and bring him to the courts. He is immediately released. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Dooku are all stripped of their rank and thrown into prison. The Jedi Order faces incredible sanctions and is eventually disbanded. Palpatine goes on to speak to the Senate about he was being persecuted as a religious minority, garnering him a great deal of sympathy. Anakin is freaking adopted by Palpatine and raised to be a Sith, but somewhere along the way, instead of wanting to become Emperor, Palpatine realized that he's already the Supreme Chancellor, and having successfully defeated the Jedi Order, and surprisingly found the incredible joys of fatherhood to be more satisfying than he could imagine, he decides to abandon his plan of galactic domination. He retires to his Naboo after freeing Shmi, and Anakin and Padme eventually marry and have 3 kids, Luke, Leia, and little Sheev, and they all live happily ever after. Well, I'm guessing many of you didn't see that turn of events coming based on the utterly ridiculous title of What If They Remembered Force Speed. I barely forgot that that's what this video was about. Anyway, let me know what you think of the video. If you would like to support the channel, you can check out my Patreon, link in the description below, but also sharing these videos with other people would be really cool. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that garbage.